Drive west out of Tallahassee on US 90, and the land starts to heave and roll in a way most people don't expect from Florida. They call them the Gadsden Hills, long red clay ridges that catch the morning fog and hold it like smoke. And tucked into those hills is an anomaly, Gadsden County, the only county in the state that has been majority black continuously since 1830. To understand how that happened, you have to go back to a time when this region was known as Middle Florida, part of a cotton and tobacco belt stretching over from Georgia and the Carolinas. In the 1820s and 1830s, large planters, many from Virginia and the Carolinas, poured into these hills, bringing enslaved black people with them and carving plantations into the red soil. By 1829, nearly 1,000 enslaved people were already recorded, and within just a year or so, black residents outnumbered whites. In the 1830 census, over half the county's people were enslaved, making Gadsden a majority black place before Florida had even really taken shape as a state. At first, cotton was king here. But in 1828, settlers began experimenting with tobacco in these hills, eventually perfecting a high-quality leaf that could wrap cigars. By the turn of the 20th century, the hills were covered in shadows. Planters stretched miles of cheesecloth over their fields, creating huge white tents that turned the landscape into something almost otherworldly. Under those tents grew shade tobacco, brown gold, a delicate leaf that became some of the most prized in the world. This work relied overwhelmingly on black labor, families who had lived in Gadsden since bondage. In the early 20th century, millions of black Southerners left during the Great Migration. Counties that looked a lot like Gadsden emptied out. But Gadsden was different. The shade tobacco industry acted as a demographic anchor. It made it possible to stay, to raise families and build churches while other rural counties were losing theirs. By the 1960s, the brown gold was losing its shine. But while the fields were fading, something else was heating up, a demand for political power. In the summer of 1964, the Congress of Racial Equality, CORE, chose Gadsden County as a battleground. Activists were met with bombings and arrests, but local black residents like the Dixie family stepped into leadership. A.I. Dixie safeguarded activists while his daughters Linda and Jewel led sit-ins. That summer, organizers helped thousands sign up to vote, reshaping the electorate almost overnight. Change was slow, but the idea of a political majority was now firmly planted. In 2004, Morris Young was elected sheriff, becoming the county's first black sheriff and only the second in Florida since Reconstruction. Under his tenure, Judge Kathy L. Garner emerged as the county's first black female judge. What does Gadsden represent in 2026? It is a story not just of departure, but of endurance. The same red hills that grew cotton nurtured a culture of staying put, of fighting from the inside. When you stand outside Quincy today, you can still feel the imprint of that history in the churches and the political campaigns. In a state defined by transplants, Gadsden County is a reminder that staying, through slavery, Jim Crow, and political struggle, is its own kind of revolution.